The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Pompey have delivered progress reports on Mark Kovjanovski and Franco Ume, who will both miss the rest of this season. In the case of the Hungarian, who arrived last summer from MTK Budapest, suffered a severe knee injury against Charlton at Fratton Park in December, and after surgery needs at least 11 months before being able to return to playing. John Messino confirms that he will be back probably in November or December, adding he's just had major surgery. We had to wait some time because he had damaged the ACL and the MCL and we weren't sure whether we needed surgery on both. We waited and it turned out to be straight surgery on the ACL, but we had to wait a bit of time to do that. It was a not particularly nice injury. He's alright, he's not dancing on the rooftops mainly because he can't. He's okay, a very steady individual. The club are more optimistic over Ume, who was ruled out for the season in January after suffering a recurrence of a hamstring injury in the defeat to Arsenal. It was only his second outing for Pompey, having struggled with injury since his deadline day arrival from Selhurst Park.
John Messino there on the injuries to Mark Kovjanovski and Franco Ume. Both of them cruel. In the case of Ume, perhaps we were waiting with bated breath to see whether he was going to get over the hamstring injury that kept him off the field of play for the first several months, wasn't it? After we bought him, we knew, obviously, that there was an element of risk involved. He didn't last very long before that hamstring injury, we understand, flared up again. People are holding off criticising Fratton Park for making such an investment. Kovjanovski turns out to be a pretty straight up and down character. And I've only seen him up close once. He came into the bar after Pompey's second game, I think. After he joined us, he was on his own. He was wearing his Pompey tracksuit and he perched on a bar stool and he was watching the results coming in. And he looked very straightforward man, a straightforward footballer, I think, from what we've seen of him. He's not going to pull up trees. He's not going to light any rockets, I don't think. It'd be nice if he could, but he seemed like one of those reliable players who were quick, effective in the tackle, and knew what to do with the ball once they got it. And obviously we need players of that calibre. There's a reason why he was valued at £1 million at the age of, was it 22 when he came to us? He's 23 now. But he's not going to be available for selection until the 6th month of next season. This is a big loss in so many ways. The big question has to be, how can he come back to what he was, which was very great in potential? Can he come back to that level of potential around about Christmas at the end of this year? It's a long time to wait. What does he do with his days? If he requires ongoing checks and treatment, he can't go home and have a fortnight at home, which would probably do him good. Or maybe he can have the odd weekend at home. But it's hard on the lad, and hard on Ume as well, doing nothing. These are professional footballers, but they also love it, and they want to be out there. Let's hope we're managing them as well as we suspect they are.
Portsmouth boss John Messino is warning his side not to underestimate a Blackburn Rovers team he believes is far better than their league position suggests. The two sides face off in a crucial relegation six-pointer at Ewood Park this weekend, with both teams seeing an upturn in form recently. Messino feels new manager Michael O'Neill has turned an unlucky side into a much tougher opponent. They were never a terrible team by any stretch. I thought Blackburn were unlucky in a lot of the games we watched before he came in. But I think he's made them very, very solid defensively. They've picked up some great results recently. Look at the win against Preston on Friday night, and they got a good result against Sheffield Wednesday too. He has a huge amount of experience, and he's a current international manager. He hasn't just come in and steadied the ship, he's made them a real attacking threat as well. Pompey's hopes have been boosted by the return of key centre-half Conor Shaughnessy, who is back after 2 months out with a quad injury. Messino hopes his presence will improve their threat from set pieces. He's fit and ready to go for Saturday, the manager confirmed. When Shocks plays, he adds that extra physicality. He showed it against Charlton. He came straight back in, and within 5 minutes, he'd put the ball in the back of the net. He did that for us time and again a couple of seasons ago in League One, so hopefully he can give us that boost again. We've probably missed that. Whenever we have that kind of presence at centre-back, it just changes the dynamic. Physically, I think we're coping well for the most part on the defensive side. It's just going forward in those attacking moments we need a bit more belief that we're going to get our head on something and score. We've had some big chances from corners against Hull and Wrexham where we really should have done better.
John Messino on why we should be on our guard against Blackburn on Saturday. All managers virtually, maybe all managers, the day or 2 days before the game, they go around warning their players and making sure that the fans and journalists are reminded that the opposition are no mugs, because you're in a league of teams who are more or less the same as you. So if they're mugs, then you're a mug. So they're not mugs, and nor are you a mug. And yet, we still have to hear that important mantra, which is that they are a very good side and they're very well organised, and he has great respect for their manager. So, that done, let's get on with the game. On Sky Sports EFL podcast, Simeon Golem, David Pruton and guests are discussing Blackburn versus Pompey.
We roll on to Saturday lunchtime now. 2 live championship games at 12:30pm this week. Blackburn versus Portsmouth is one of them, which is the main front channel game on Sky Sports Football from 11am. Build-up, kick-off 12:30pm. Blackburn followed up 2 wins under Michael O'Neill with 2 defeats. They led both Bristol City and Derby last week, but conspired to lose both of those games. They are a point and a place behind Portsmouth heading into the weekend. Blackburn are 4 points above the bottom 3 heading into the weekend. Portsmouth 5 points above the bottom 3 heading into the weekend. That, of course, might change depending on what happens on Friday night. But this is no less a big game between 2 sides who are at the wrong end of the table, trying to get to the slightly less wrong end of the table.
Yeah, and it was looking, I mean, obviously, we've spoken the last couple of weeks about the injuries that John Messini's got to deal with. And when we saw those back-to-back wins against Charlton Millwall, they might have thought there would be some clear daylight between themselves and the bottom 3. But the last 2 results against Wrexham and Hull City show that they're still very much in the thick of it all. And Blackburn, again, you've got 2 teams with a very similar recent record. Michael O'Neill giving them potentially that bump, which we saw in that first game against Preston. But I mean, it's going to take a hell of a job from the manager to make sure they get to safety, but a team's there by virtue of what they've done so far this season. Yes, he's got a short amount of time to try and sort it out, but let's be honest, you've got 2 teams there that are absolutely banging trouble.